Alright guys, we're back. Welcome to Crowns and Crows, the original, the only Crowfall podcast. Here we are starting Season 3, and it starts with the rundown. We can watch some milestone videos to see the ever-evolving stylings of Tully's facial hair. I don't know if anybody picked up on that week to week. It starts off with a full goatee, shaved to 5 o'clock shadow. But perfectly manicured, though, I have to say. We got a new stretch goal, Male Assassin. We're about 20% of the way in there, a little bit. And we hit the total funding goal of $2.3 million. And if anybody's counting, that's only $1.2 million behind Camelot Unchained. But,
wow.
But who's keeping score?
But who's counting?
Not me.
Not every week.
The Camelot Unchained fanboys will be out. They're already invading reroll.org right now. At least one of them is, and our YouTube channel's going nuts. So, like I said before, Season 3 starts today. We always said Season 3 is going to start with the beginning of pre-alpha. So we got some gameplay going on. I had it playing a little bit in the pre-show. If you caught it, it's Valor can put the link in the chat, but it's essentially guy got about a couple hours in playing the game, and it's basically the Hunger Dome. So if you wanted to see some variations of it, feel free to hop on that link, and you can watch some of the past broadcasts. I think we weren't able to record last week, unfortunately. So we got a lot to catch up on. A lot of great updates. Like they mentioned, one of the updates, they got the new video guy's been pumping out a lot of good content. Valor is linking us up with some really good animated GIFs here, which is great. I think we need to move this a little bit, center it. But I think let's go in order from last week to this week, and because I think some of the big ones are basically the milestone and the combat chat that we saw in the last week or so. We got the crowd control and teamwork video post from 2 weeks ago. I think the only thing that we can really take away from that is because it's the already discussed CC diminishing returns.
Yep.
They call it resolve, so nothing's really changed on that. Just kind of clarifying the language and stuff like that. So most modern games that don't come from Korea have something like this into it. So it's not surprising for anybody. The teamwork video was kind of cool. Gotta love Todd's acting and his hippogriff. So that was a lot of fun to watch. I kind of dig how the team gets together and puts on these cool videos. I think this is the second one. The first one was the Centaur video from a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I like seeing that. Everybody seems to be having fun. We got the second UI update with Billy Garrettson. And I'm a big UI guy. I think UI is one of the 3 most important factors of any video game that you play, especially an MMO that you're staring at the screen for so long.
I'll disagree with you,
okay.
but that's fine. I mean, it's an important piece. I agree with
Sure.
you. I agree with the fact that that you stare at that.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of those things you have to deal with every single time.
Right.
But yeah.
So you don't think it's a top 3 important things on the list?
No, I mean, Darkfall had a horrible UI. I mean, we're talking
horrible game. I mean,
I won't go that far, but the UI was something that I honestly couldn't even describe it to you. It was so bad.
It was bad. No, but the functionality of it was terrible.
Oh, the functionality, the appearance, everything about it was horrible. And
my whole point. My whole point for a good UI is basically it's not the aesthetics of it. It doesn't get in the way. You're able to customize it to some degree, and displays the information in a and that UI actually turned a lot of people off, and so it is important to a game. I could say I could agree with you that it could be one of the top 3 things important to the game, but to me. The UI is one of those things. If I can get in there, kill a bunch of people, enjoy it, I'm not as concerned about the UI. But, hey, why argue about UI? No. I love the UI. I think they've done a great job. Good. Here's a couple things I picked up on that I kind of liked. Everything was movable. Not just like you have the portrait, the health bars you can move around. You can move around the individual bars. You can move around the portrait. I like that you can turn the portrait off. Almost no other game I know that has a portrait. Can you actually turn the portrait off? You have to use a API or something like that to do it with an add-on, which is really cool. And you can move the individual hotbar buttons, which you can't do unless you have some kind of World of Warcraft like add-on to let you do it. Lakes, what did you think? Do you like all that stuff? Do you usually kind of tinker it around, or you usually just go stock UI and kill some motherfuckers?
The only thing I really want is like being able to move things. Has to be clean, has to be simplified. They've already hit that. You can move things around. Hit all those things for me. Great. The other thing with UI is really you got to take a look at the ability to incorporate large groups and guilds and all that kind of stuff. Like the UI needs to be able to facilitate that stuff. And yes, I get a beer via someone small.
My kids are a little bit too small to reach up to the top of the refrigerator and get me a beer. So maybe in 2 years, hopefully, they'll be able to do that for me. So I think the guild UI is actually has to be good in this game because they're talking about guilds within guilds within guilds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you don't have something that looks good, that's complete fail on their part. But there's two things that I wanted to see in the updatable UI. You did say there was more to come. I'm going to be super nitpicky and say I would love to be able to see the numbers that are sitting on top of those circles for the abilities put inside of them. That's just my little OCD kicking in there a little bit. And I'd love to see what the cooldown timers look like. Everybody's usually... I'm always picky about being able to see my cooldowns in big numbers so I can see them at a glance rather than the clock that kind of ticks around, the radial.
Yeah.
Whatever. So those are my two things. We got some pre-alpha news as we kind of moved along. We got the first naming of the alpha, the Hunger Dome. We all know right now there's pre-alpha folks. And what level was that? Was that Ruby?
That would be Ruby and above.
Ruby and above, right?
Yeah.
It's 5K and above. They don't have enough of those players. I think there's something like 40-something guys on that tier or higher, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure the Diamond guys have been in there for a couple weeks at least.
Sure, I would imagine so.
And then, but yeah, I think Ruby. I always have to go back and look at these, which I will, but we'll be past it by then.
Chrissy wanted me to turn off the GIF. It was driving her nuts, so we'll do that for her. Yeah, so they have to add in Alpha 1s so they can actually have a play test.
Yeah.
So Alpha 1's going to be invited, then Alpha 2s and 3s and so forth, but it's all going to be on order of pledge time.
Yep.
And
tier list and then pledge time, right?
Correct. So once all the Alpha 1s are in, they're going to start. Now, the one thing I forgot, I just remembered, there's some kind of counter just to make sure everybody gets a chance at it, right? So they're going to do it in a fair way. So there's going to be constantly new people in to get better feedback, I guess, so they have more opinions of everything. I just hope that they run the forums well and there's some good feedback and not everybody just shuts everybody down. But of course that's going to happen because that's what happens in every pre-alpha forum. So Pan has her work cut out for her because there is a new forum section. I think somebody discover it like 2 weeks ago. They found a link to it or something.
No, when they put them up initially, they didn't do the permissions properly from the start, and so everyone got to see. But there was only like 3 threads in there or something like that. So I don't think it was anything too crazy.
Okay, so. Those were 3 different updates that basically came from the Friday after our last show and the 2 from last week.
And just throwing this out there, remember when we said what was going to come up next and the updates, and I said pre-alpha?
Yeah. Bang.
Chicken dinner, baby.
There we go.
Boom. Need the man. So the combat chat video popped up, and I actually I've been at a new job, so I've been kind of slammed, and I watched the milestone video before the combat chat video. So I totally pissed the combat chat video, and basically they went over what the Hunger Dome was. So I have a list of things from that combat chat video that I want to talk about. But let's go over. Do we want to define what the Hunger Dome is? I'm assuming everyone.
I think we need
what
to.
It is, but,
I think we need to because honestly, I was watching the stream. And the people playing the game didn't know what Hunger Dome was or how it worked.
Wait, there was a stream today?
So there was a stream. Welcome.
I've been at work all day, so...
I know. So
I found out about it an hour ago.
So I got to the end of work, and somebody had sent me a message about it. They're like, oh, yeah, by the way, somebody is streaming. So I went and shared it, and everyone's like, yeah, welcome to an hour ago. It's like, geez, guys, sheesh. I work. I'm sorry.
There's now streaming of the playtest now?
There was 3 hours by one person. I think it's 3 hours by one person, and it was really just somebody who was, walking around learning the game, and you got to see a little bit of, what we saw in the 28-minute video from Crowfall. Got to see some of that, a little bit more, lots of them sitting there, finding the gear, and then a little bit of combat nearer to the end when everything shrunk down. But
so I guess my big question is now pre-alpha, are these playtests going to be now streamable? because
there's no NDA.
Yes. So that actually
Right?
they did their official press release today, and so it was a message that how it looked is it went out to all of the Kickstarter backers, but I don't think I got an email about it, and it was hey. It is, pre-alpha is in. If you were pre-alpha access, you're going to be getting your email, check your spam folders, and no NDA. Everything from here on out is now open to the public to view, and then you can talk about it, wherever. But their actual pre-alpha forums are going to be locked down to respondents who are currently in the test. So,
well, we could see feedback. That was like my big thing was like if feedback's going to be tossed out, I really want to be able to see it. Like how people felt, how it felt within their hands, kind of thing. Like that's definitely something as a backer we want to know. Because if there is changes later on down the line, like let's just say the aiming system needs to have a soft lock on it. Well, you can actually track the progress of feedback. So when they go out and say, we need to change a system, it's very transparent. You know exactly why they're doing it because of the amount of feedback that's coming in. And it's not like, we tried, but, there's more of an explanation, more backing behind it. I definitely do like the transparency when they do that kind of stuff. So, like Z approves, guys. Right?
Well, and the thing that I think is going to be interesting is I know that they have a lot of different forums. They've got their dev partners forum and a lot of these others, and just seeing how they force the transition to, hey, you guys need to start posting your feedback on the actual testing in the testing forums and not let that be hidden behind that paywall. I'm sure that they're going to have some sort of direction for those guys, but that's a big part. And when they start, they've already said that they're going to be inviting begin inviting Alpha 1 players into the testing, doing that in groups of like 50 or 100. And those folks are obviously going to have to post in the testing forums. And that, I think, is where we will start seeing a lot of high-quality streaming and a lot of good feedback coming in, because I know from the number of communities that I've reached out to that people who are really excited about Crowfall and have that history and experience of testing, they went in at that tier where you get the Alpha 1 access. And I think they're going to start seeing a lot of really good feedback and, some of the people pretty skilled as well. And, I mean, even if you just look through the Crowfall forums, a lot of the, bigger streamers are out there, and they are, they're going to be able to give that kind of feedback. And so, the things that I say is, make sure that they present the game how it is, and they've done a good job so far.
Well, let me jump in here right now, because I mentioned this during the pre-show, and I think I've been kind of not harping, but asking for this. I think saying like this is what they should do. And if you go back to whatever show, I said they need to set this up as a documentary, and that's exactly what we got with that milestone video. I think that's the best video to date. I love that video. I love seeing games being made, and it was great, and they did a great job of seeing it. Of putting it together, and now you have, and part of that is you see the milestone video, and you found out how much stuff that they had to put in the game now that you don't typically put into 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the road with equipment changing color, being able to equip equipment and changing the looks, logins, character selects, character creation, patching, all that stuff you don't see to the very end. They all put in right now, and they're actually making a game that they hope to be that is actually fun. And what I'd love to see, and I've actually seen it in my own communities that I participate in, people are now saying, oh shit, this game looks like it's actually coming together. They've been doing it for 16 weeks, and they're playing it right now to a lesser extent. And I had one guy say, all right, well, I just put in $500. I'm one of those guys now, and I see this. Oh, I just pledged $25. This game looks good. So I think that the Crowfall team is found something of producing video content, being honest and forthright, and I mean, God forbid that we actually have a competent development team actually building things and putting things together. I'm stoked. I need a new game to play, and I've been wasting my time with Diablo 3 recently, so I can't wait to get my hands on it. I mean, you're looking at this game. I'm assuming the video that we're streaming is not all played internally. People are playing from their home computers because the guy with his
Correct.
anime background, probably not an anime background in an office building somewhere.
Well, then again, you never
know. You never know with those things. But
I mean, they hired a Brit, so
that's true. That's true. But I mean, I've seen some animation problems, some catching on terrain, like, you know, kind of standard buggy stuff that gets smoothed out. But I don't see really any hitching or any ping issues or any packet loss type of stuff. So either the guy's a great comp. Sorry,
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
What they were,
kind of stuff.
Yeah, they talked about it a little bit before we started the stream, where they were saying that there was some, they were dealing with some server lag. There's a couple issues that they had yesterday and today.
Well, the responsiveness we can't tell, but I don't see people sliding across the terrain like loot lag. The UI is responsive; it's hitting servers back. I mean, the simple stuff, not the actual handling of the game. It actually looks pretty good.
So we're gonna talk about the Hunger Dome because I want to dig into it.
Okay,
we're just dancing around it.
We've been going on. And on. Okay, do you want to go? Somebody want to go over the rules, or just want to, Lakes? Do you want to just give us the rules and then dive in with your thing?
Bro, you have groups of 3.
Right.
You random party. You can get. They try to balance it to where you get a legionnaire, a confessor, and a knight within your group. Obviously, you may not get that every time. Was it 16 groups of 3 is the max, spread out throughout the map.
30 to 50 players.
Last man standing. You loot your gear. You try to find it. You're able to loot other players. As the game persists, the dome kind of closes in, so kind of forces people towards the middle, like Hunger Games, right? Yep. And it's Battle Royale, last man standing. I mean, it's pretty basic arena-style game. Everyone loads at the same time. Everything on the map is there for everybody, so it's a free play survival. Get your stuff, team up with your guys, and try to win. I think it's a great way of testing combat.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, just to go over some numbers, I pulled these from the combat chat video. They might be different. Some people in chat are saying max 58 peeps or whatever. They said that the minimum is 30 and the max is 50, so that's why they were getting uneven groups. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know, but they said it's 50 in the combat chat video.
50 divided by 3 doesn't work.
But there are some people getting 2-man groups too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. So it is what it is. I heard the
it's
number 50.
It's called math, boys. You have three people per
just
group,
works.
16 groups. There's your max.
There you go.
Let's play this game.
Yep.
Let's kill something.
All right.
And the only thing is the size of the dome is 2K by 2K, but I think they were adjusting the size of it during testing, so it's about the size of Eternal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And the dome shrinks in staggered forces, so it doesn't look like it's a continuous drop. It goes boom and it pauses, boom and it pauses, gets smaller and smaller and smaller. All right, Lakes, let's dive in. What do you think? Come on. Feedback,
so
bro.
I think this is the best way to test combat, and I haven't seen companies do this. We've seen a few companies release a module, but this is pretty much a combat module. They made it very minimal. Everything's black and white except for the characters. Everyone loads in. There's no real customization. You go in with your guy, and you test the combat. You test the skills. You test the combinations. You test grouping with other people. You test the auras and the blocking mechanics and the aiming mechanics. And it's a great way to figure out if what they've been working on for the past 16 weeks of revamping their combat from what we've seen pre-Kickstarter till now. It's a great way to test that, see where they're at, be able to test the drag and the gravity and the
whole
mass.
Physics engine.
It's a great way to test it all. So now you build the game around that because the game is going to be a PvP game, and this is the way to test it. After this, they'll be able to move in and add some other things, but this is the baseline. They're hitting home, or they're hitting that home run. They need to make sure that they've got it perfect, the baseline of the game, to continue to press on. So the Hunger Dome does exactly that, and it adds a fun style to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. And so, hey, cool, we love the Hunger Dome. We've got that out of the way. Let's talk about some of the actual mechanical elements of it that I was looking at. Was the Hunger Dome. The space continues to shrink, and as you get closer and closer, it forces everyone together, or you die to the hunger.
Or fire. Or a campfire.
Or fire, yeah, I guess. I only saw the cloud stuff, so...
No, there was a joke in the combat chat. Somebody was hiding the particles of the fire, and then totally decided to say, F you guys.
So you have all of that. The only problem I have with it is that the confessors are casters who require range to really be survivable, whereas you have all these other melee characters. You start breaking some of the abilities and what they're going to be good with. So at the end, I think that anyone who's on the Knight and the Legionnaire are probably going to have a significant advantage. And it's not that this is supposed to be competitive. What it is these characters are supposed to be at range, and so to some degree, it'll help them be able to identify what happens when ranged character is forced into a small space.
So what I like about this in particular is one of the biggest concerns going into combat. I was really worried about the aiming and the reticle. Right, you're at range. You're trying to. So what I really liked is they are already incorporating, because Tully did it several times in the video. He's like, oh man, I'm being targeted. Let me go hide behind this building or hide behind this corner. So you're actually having that true aim instead of that tab targeting style where
it follows you a little bit.
Yeah, it will follow you around the bend and all this kind of stuff. So it's hard to tell. I didn't get a full grasp of how well that aiming and the reticle aiming of the game is right now. I know that was a concern of them. I know that they were talking about possibly having a soft lock later on. Who knows how it was? I haven't played it, so I don't know exactly how it's working. But it seems like the simple mechanics of line of sight are coming into play. It seems like that's starting to work out in a very strategic way. Mm-hmm. And I want to see more. Obviously, with these streams, that's some of the stuff I'm going to be looking at, is how hard it is for some people to aim more. And you'll be able to tell as you're watching the stream, like, wow, that guy's probably not that great, so the aiming probably isn't the best right now. But you could get a good general idea of watching it, like, oh, wow, okay, he's actually has the cursor, but it's not exactly hitting where he wants. Or, you're going to get a feel of the game. And that's a real important part of this game, is reticle aiming in here. And I definitely liked the way it looked. I didn't get to play it, so I can't say feel. But when they were doing the melee and Tully was using his cursor to try to attack melee-wise, it felt fluid. It looked good. So, I mean, that's all we can really hope for right now, right? It's in the very beginning stages of this, and so far it looks good.
Here's a couple other observations. I'm just watching this video, and I didn't even realize that it was in it until I actually was wondering, why is the camera moving all weird? There's a spectator mode on here when you die, just like any other FPS game. I thought that was really cool. I didn't even notice that. So there's some things you can do with that if you're watching somebody else's campaigns, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and you can sit down and you can. I mean, like, at least in the Hunger Games, who knows how long, how this will persist into the real game. But you can, after you die, I mean, you could honestly be sitting there for however long. And you just watch what happens with everyone else. Watch your own team. Watch other teams. Tell your team over VoIP where their other teams are.
Sure. Well, here's another thing. Just kind of another random thing. I'm just watching how the characters move, and it seems. And I don't know if this is a player thing or it's an engine thing. There's turn speeds to this, especially for the Centaur. And he has to build up momentum to run, so he starts off slow. He doesn't go from 1 to 100% move speed right off the bat. And there's clumps of melee in there, and the only thing I could foresee happening is you get a clump of people, and they're all kind of like knights and centaurs are all just kind of fighting with each other, and maybe they don't have resources, and it's just now a clusterfuck kind of ball of people whacking each other. Because the time to kill is actually pretty decently long. There's a lot of survivability there, which I kind of like too. Not everybody's getting one shot, and we've been talking about that like every other show.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and one of the things that I was watching, along the lines of that stream is that I got to see different people who were performing really well on different archetypes, and so being able to balance, like for instance, there was one part of a clip where a confessor was more or less, the rest of his team was dead, and he was just running around. He ran into a legionnaire and a couple knights, and he had no chance. Point being is, don't get into melee range, and don't let people get into melee range with you if you are a squishy caster. If you do, I mean, the best that he could do is run around and,
That's where that quote from JTC comes into play, right? I don't know the exact words, but if you keep on spawning and dying over and over again, you're probably bad at the game. pro tip number 1: your range don't be in melee range.
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
you're not responding in this one. You're watching for the next 20 minutes or so.
Your 25 was it your 25 tries? Because that's what it was. That you're capped out at 25. Your 25 tries are going to be very short, my friend. You have 5 minutes game time, and 25 goes.
Done.
So, I mean, do you guys, 25 tries, do you guys take that as they're just running one Hunger Dome and you get to queue up for it and you wait until it pops for your group of 48 and then you play and then the next group of 48 who've queued up for it get to play? I mean, is that how you guys are taking this? They only have one instance?
I'm not sure how much the servers can handle, right? Because it's all based on what they pretty much set it at, whether it's going to be multiple queues or multiple instances, or if they want one at a time because the servers
multiple instances and stuff like that.
Right, but we're so early, it may just be only one, and then they're like, all right, now we're ready to bring in more people. Let's run multiple instances.
Otherwise, I can't figure out why they would have a limit on how many matches you can play.
I do, because they want to bring in multiple people. You know how many people pledged Alpha 1, and then they promised the pre-alpha Alpha 1s are all going to get to play it. That's a lot of people, and if I'm queuing up every time amongst those 48 because I want to consistently play, not everyone's going to get a chance to dive into that. So do I think...
Again, we're assuming they only have one, maybe a few instances. So that's why I'm saying is, I don't think they're going to have, once we have 48 people, you get to start. Because if they had that, then there would be no reason to really cap it.
Here's the thing. They want to get more people into testing as possible because they actually have a good product here that's worth demoing. And the more people that play it, the more people get excited, the more people that are talking about it, the more people that are pledging money.
Yeah.
And you have a product here that if it works, why not let in people playing it at, 25 tries a stint? And there's probably not that many people that are going to be able to play, depending on what time of day the testing is done. And they want to have a decent amount of people in there to start populating games and start collecting metrics. And stuff like
I think that's what it is. I think they're trying to grab the largest amount of information, test information that they can get from people scattered all throughout the world. They're trying to get all this test information as quick as possible in the very beginning stages of it, because they're going to find that network coding with the way people connect to their servers is going to be a problem, and how the client server issue is going to be a problem for someone that maybe lives in Hawaii like myself. I may have really bad, and it may not work out for me. So they're going to need to grab information on my networking, my computer specs. If I have a specific problem and I have a different computer, a different hardware than this guy, like, they want to get as much information as early as possible to fix these problems so that they can take away a lot of that. All right, now we're going to run our beta test or our official alpha test, and now they've got 3,000 people testing this game, and now they've got 1,000 different issues that they could have taken care of early instead of having.
It seems that they're doing different parts of the development all at the same time, which are typically kind of stretched out throughout the year 3, 4, and 5 of development. So I don't know if they have enough manpower to do that all at once, but they seem to be doing it, which is pretty impressive. So I think the more data they collect, the more they can learn about their own engine and software, like Lake's just said. So they need people, they need bodies. So I think because testing is not going to be 24/7. They want to get enough people in a specific window to play the game, and not rely on, a couple hundred people getting on at the same time.
They're talking about the 25 match limit, and I think that's probably going to be for pre-alpha while they continue. I mean, they're really not.
They might just add to it if
they're not
it
really
goes by
focused,
so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really focused on, let's test the game. No. They're still working on, let's test our combat system. Let's test the skills. Let's test the things that we've put in there. And they've talked about how they've built the game modularly so that they can, they just take what they've already built, change a few different things about it, reskin it, put it on a different archetype. It operates and looks different, but it is the same skill that they designed for another one. So I think that the reason they're doing this is they're going to focus on these very specific things. They're going to open up the Hunger Dome to say, hey, we want to test this. We want to test these 2 or 3 things, and from there we'll go from there. But 25 matches, that's going to be fun, and I'm just looking forward to be able to get in there and see how the game operates. Obviously, it's going to be in pre-alpha state. We've seen some of it. but really getting to feel it is completely different.
Sure.
I think I agree with Jay Big here. From what the video seems like and the kind of information that I've got to see from the Hunger Dome, it really does feel like Terra. And that was our biggest guess was like,
Yep.
and they even said they're going to try to model it a lot like Terra. And that's where I come, like I feel like it's going to be at, is more of a Terra combat feel. So if you want to get a head start at Crowfall, guys, might as well just jump on some Terra, get used to that locking.
If you could deal with all the
Man.
terrible gameplay of Terra.
Dude, I can't pick up. I
Quest.
can't pick up 50 rose petals, dude, and bring
No.
them to home
None of
Joe
that
over
bullshit.
here. Yeah, dude, no way.
No. So, Lakes, we've been talking about this for the last year or half a year or however 2 seasons. Let's call it 2 seasons of doing this show. What did you think about the animation speeds without being able to feel it, just watching it, and the time to kill stuff? Because we've been talking about that a lot.
I think the time to kill is probably at a really good spot. From what I could see, obviously we didn't get to see a whole lot. I've only had that short video where Tully's like, "Oh, I'm about to die," and then he
runs
like
away,
goes to die,
and then-
runs away.
Did they, who was
First-
it? Who was it who couldn't figure out? Oh yeah, if you block, you do better.
Yeah,
Was that Tully or was that? I think they said it was like Dave or.
I
something
watched
like
that video and I watched multiple people not block at all, right? While Tully's sitting there and he looks like this, like, dude, he's just like MLG 420 no scope. Because everyone's running in there not blocking. They're just like, "Hey, Tully!" And he's like, "Oh, look at me, just kill him." But I think it's in a good spot. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't get to
don't
see
know.
a lot of the animations in a big, like only seeing a little bit of the Confessor, right? I seen a little bit because when Thomas came out and he was testing the Confessor, that's when Tully was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go run and hide because I'm almost dead." So we didn't get to see like the animations coming from Thomas during that. So I would have liked to see that. I guess he was just scared of Thomas was really the whole reason behind him hiding. But I want to see like more of the Confessor because I got to see the animations of the Legionnaire and it looks good, right? So
Yeah.
I want to see the Confessor. I think the Confessor is something where we're gonna really be like animation is gonna be extremely important because the melee it looks clean. I like it, right?
does.
I had a feel of all the Knight. I had a feel of the Legionnaire, and I was able to see it through their various barrel testing where they're able to chain pull barrels and. It looks good. It looks smooth. I want to see the Confessor in action and actually see how those animations work in between trying to kite and actually do damage
Yeah.
while melee's on top of you. So so far it looks good. I mean,
I agree. You know, the few things that I saw, I think they have just some starting number. I mean, they're going to have starting numbers for a lot of stuff, but I think they have some starting numbers for the health for everyone, and so that's not really, expect a lot of the stuff to change. Because you sit there and you're just watching. It's like, okay, I'm gonna hit this Legionnaire. I'm gonna hit this Legionnaire. It's like, all right, at some point they're gonna scale that down to where you're really having impactful response from the actions that you're taking. But again, they don't have everything in there. They don't have all of the skill bars. They don't have. This is the starting point, and it's to test the combat system. If everyone is in there just, I'm going to spike this person from, 100 to 0 him, I mean, it's not really going to help you test your combat system. You won't get to test a lot of things. And so I think that they're really letting people survive, letting them, really explore and feel the physics of the game so that they can watch how it interacts.
I think I'm just kind of watching the video now that I didn't get to watch before the stream, and the reactions are pretty solid. I think some of the animations suffer the same with any kind of MMO. You get a bunch of people kind of swing in one general direction where people can run around, which I think is good. Some of the attacks don't look like they have weight behind it, but they're still working out the physics of actual person's whatever. So I think it's an excellent start. I think it's on par with almost 80% of the games, 90% of the games that are out there already. So I think with more iteration, more polish, more time, they're in a really good direction. And you know what? Unity's pretty damn good. If they can get something up like this, I never knew that you could an engine could get you something.
I think this is something I agree with Gonsaku about. A little bit, it did seem a little slow, the combat. It didn't feel as twitchy as I was kind of expecting in an action-based it felt a little slower, and maybe that's for multiple reasons. That may be one of their solutions for aiming. but it did feel a little slow, a little sluggish in that aspect as far as like the combat was going.
That's what I was talking about with animations. I felt like the swings took a long time. I mean, I understand with a giant axe with a centaur might be a little bit.
If they increase the damage though, or reduce the health, it might be a slow swing. But if you hit it, man, it's a big chunk.
Sure.
So. That's where I'm looking at it. They're just let's test out the skills. Do the skills work? Do they break your character? Or do you fall through the floor if you do it in a corner? That came out wrong.
They want to test whether how the combat feels. I think that's basically what they're looking at now for the feedback. You want all the technical stuff like we keep mentioning. But the feels data, man, you got to get the feels data. Does it feel good?
Yeah. Well, that's again,
a great point.
What we're seeing is the the beginning of the beginning. The what just got streamed. He even called it in his stream the friends and family. I mean, we're still looking at them, tinkering around with their system. When
sure.
All of Alpha 1's in and they've made it through, then they'll probably start working on the feels and begin touching up on that. But I really just see, the starting part is, focus on the things that we need to make sure work right, and then from there we can start really, making the game feel more like a game and less like we're data mining everyone, which is what they're doing.
Well, we're going to be data mining everything on this show. Another thing that I noticed, I'm just kind of staring at this, kind of brought to my attention, is when you're doing your standard auto attacks, you're basically standing still and attacking. Where a game like Terra, you had momentum behind your attacks, so you moved in a certain direction, assuming you're not doing casting or anything else. Most of the melee characters, actually, whether you stepped forward a half a foot or whatever, there was still movement in a certain direction. So there was weight behind the attacks.
There's something that I like about that because it brings in the micro of something that we used to do in Guild Wars. It was called quarter knocking. And I do like the fact that in order to keep your DPS up, you have to up your actions per minute. So when you stop auto attack, it forces a really good player that's able to stop auto attack and move in between different animations. Like a quarter knock was you would knock someone down.
Read what Jay Big just wrote.
What did he say?
Sorry for interrupting. They were talking about that in the forum.
Lunging while attacking, and I'll let you finish your statement. I mean, we've seen a little bit of it in some of their other videos, but go ahead, finish your thoughts, and I'll pick up after you're done.
Well, I was just going to say that I do like it to an extent. I do like the fact that it can, if the mechanic is right, and that is intentionally on purpose, if they give the ability to make a really good player up the actions per minute by being able to auto attack and still move to the next position for the next auto attack, you're able to do a lot more DPS that way. So I do think that there's a mechanic that they could bring into the game with that if you're going to make people stand still. I'm not sure if they planned on doing that. That's my big thing.
So I'm y'all
motherfuckers, Kanye,
y'all don't even know. So
hey, I'm running for president in 2020.
Oh man, you and everyone else. So what I saw is, if we looked at some of the other videos when they had the knights attacking the barrels, when he was doing this thing, they talked about it and they showed, as he made an action, he would move forward. And if you look at the squares on the ground when he was doing it, you'd see he'd progress forward. And I am not a fan of auto attacking. I think that with this, your actions matter. You're clicking. And even with you consider the Legionnaire, I mean, his basic attacks regenerate his mana, and so there's a lot of things that I see. You just up the damage. If you up the damage on the skills and you force people to hit those skills to be able to get that reward for their actions, I think that's more than enough.
My whole point is the feel and the weight of combat. That's why Blix just said in chat that animations do have a little bit of forward pushing, but mass basically cancels that out. I don't remember how Terra was specifically, but if two people came at each other, they would kind of either slide next to each other, they would kind of push off each other a little bit, rather than just clumping up and being like, if you're pointing in a general direction.
This is a physics game, though.
Sure.
So you have
absolutely.
to expect it being different. They're not going to slide next to each other.
No. there's got. I don't like the way Terra does it, but I also don't like if two people are just fighting each other, meleeing with their left click attack. They just sit there like hacking each other and nothing else happens. There should be some kind of rebounding or something that happens when you do something like that.
I think right now, the way it stands, because reading the skills and the mechanics and seeing the whole concept of each class come together, you could see that there is a bit of a learning curve.
Oh, absolutely.
But just watching it, I don't know if it's fast. Me personally, I want to be able to see the game. I want to play the game and try to evaluate what level of learning curve this is really going to be at. Because if it's slower in combat and you're able to instant block on something that's coming really slow at you, like maybe a swing or something like that, it does take away from that learning curve, that skill gap. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see how all this comes into play and how large that skill gap actually can be. Because if it's a low entry to a medium skill ceiling, then I'm not sure how great the combat's going to be in the long run in the grand scheme of things. But if there's definitely a big ceiling and a curve, then I do think that the combat's going to be great for a large majority of people out there.
No, I agree 100%. Like these slow, I mean, they're going to be hopefully, and I'm assuming they are because these guys know what they're doing. They're going to be tweaking animation speeds. They're going to be tweaking this, that. They like to talk about their knobs, so they're going to be tweaking those knobs left and right.
I'm not into like a fight. Like I don't want it to be a fighting game. I'm just a little curious as to how that learning curve is going to be. If there actually is a large skill margin in the curve and the dynamics of the game, then it's going to be a lot of fun, right? But if the ceiling really is only met to like a medium skill, I guess an average skill level, then it's going to be. Eventually, it's going to get a little boring, I would say. So I'm interested to try it out, see where it's at right now.
No, for sure. I think.
Let's talk about range. Yes. Did you guys get to see any of the Confessor skills activating?
Some, yes.
Okay, so they had some really cool stuff going on in there, and you could see a lot of the reticle targeting. The range, I was really impressed with. They were really long distance. I mean, that was a big concern. I remember when they were talking about how they had their time of flight. They can only go for like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that. They were covering a lot of distance in that amount of time. And if you were in a big battle, map, and you had all the space to move around with, those skills looked like they could do some real damage. And what I thought was neat is they had a kind of a waterfall effect where you'd hit them and then it would, shower down wherever it exploded. And admittedly, they were kittens, but those kittens, I think, were doing damage. So, fire rain.
Yeah, for those watching the video, I'm trying to get a pause in this. You can see the distance in the reticle from where people are shooting. And there's an enemy Confessor coming in, and I just missed the pause. But they're about 28 meters away, or 20 to 30 meters, and it's a pretty good distance on there. So, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good.
People are talking about the distance being too short, and I don't know. I didn't see that. From what I saw...
Hey, we don't have the Ranger yet.
Yeah, I mean, there was a pretty good distance. And if you think about it when you're watching a Legionnaire or a Knight, they seem to be moving pretty slow. They appeared to be moving pretty slow. And so, from what I saw, I thought it was actually impressive. And then the different skills, sure enough, there was some server delay, and one of the guys was having a little bit of trouble just picking up on aiming where the person's going to be and not where they are. They kept putting the reticle right over the person and watching their fireball go behind them. So some of that obviously is just going to take time for the testers to get used to. But it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to handle the twitch, they're able to handle the numbers and the physics altogether.
One thing that was a hot topic for Elder Scrolls and maybe some other games was nameplates. We asked that question during the Kickstarter, and they were like, we're not going to talk about that yet. But I think they had a pretty good solution with, if you have aggro on them, you get to see their nameplate, which I think is good. You got to know who you're killing.
Man. I'm not sure.
The pussy in this discussion here.
I'm not sold on it.
It's a video game, my friend. It's not real life.
So, I mean, if you hit a dot and their nameplate just hangs out over their head. I'm not okay with that. I do like the fact that you don't see it until you actually deal some damage to them, though. I'm okay with that, but
It's a
yeah,
video
I
game.
just dial that down a little bit.
It's a
Yeah,
video
but I
game.
mean, but this is a survival combat MMO, so
It's a video game.
it's a combat.
I agree with you, Dragon.
Thank
there
you.
should be nameplates as an option,
Oh man!
but I personally shut them off because I want a minimal amount of UI on my screen as
Sure.
possible. I want
if it's
necessary
in game, you
things
have to have it. It becomes
But-
a tactical advantage when you're fighting in large numbers. You have to have
to
it.
see. Like personally, the nameplate is the ability to headhunt. Like you see
yeah.
somebody that's good, like yeah, you go after them. Cool.
But should you
kill
know
them.
that?
Fun.
Because you might also you might be like Dragon.
Dude,
you want
only
to run away. Should you be able to know who you are until you're
However,
already on
Dragon
top of them?
is the only person that is okay with nameplates, and you're the one that's like, nah, I think I should hide my name because I'm a little scared of getting YOLO Dolo.
No, I don't want him seeing me from 300 yards away getting
Well,
hit by
I'm
one of
not
his teammates.
because I'm. No, I have to.
Does it have to be by the person? I mean,
No,
Personal
I feel like
aggro,
you're
dude.
scared. I
A
feel like
little-
you're scared.
a little scared.
Like you should be able to see the nameplates and shut them off if you want them.
let me know.
And
when you
every
say
other,
consistent PvP MMO. Okay, let me know.
bro, I'll let you know when your learning curve is bigger than my kneecap.
Oh god,
Oh
this is
snap!
gonna be
Snap.
interesting.
Shots fired.
Oh man.
Great. So now we just need to stream a little action where we're all. Apparently, we can't get pre-made teams yet. They haven't built
No
those systems.
pre-mades.
So hopefully, we can get a game where everybody's on a different team, which is probably most likely every single time. And
I'm looking
hopefully,
forward
we're all testing at the same time, and we can watch you
Yep.
run away, hiding your nameplate
Well,
behind a
this-
barrel somewhere.
Ah,
This
he's
is-
gonna be the new Tully. Like, oh shit, Lake Z's coming. Let me go run away. Oh, dragons
You're the
come
one-
by me
you're
too.
the
Where
one
do
who
I
wants
go?
to-
Where do I
like-
go?
so people can see who's coming, and so guys.
Oh shit, Thomas is coming from that way. Fuck, I have nowhere to go.
Man,
Like-
I'm gonna hide in a bush.
Bring it on.
You'll never
Bring it
know
on.
where I'm at.
I can't wait to
I'm
take
hiding.
on
Like,
it.
where's
Bring
Dragon
it
at? Or not Dragon? Where's Valor at? He's the only colored object in the tree right now. I bet you he's up there.
Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with this. By the way, folks, if you are in testing, I don't know that. I know Crowfall's not going to be hosting any sort of VoIP for their testing phases. They might have had something internally for their friends and family, but from what I've been told by a few people, Lake's been told this as well. There is not going to be any VoIP. So we are actually offering up our Crowns and Crows Gamebox server, and if anyone wants to hang out in there, you are more than welcome to. People can local mute you if you're annoying, so hang tight for that. And if people aren't responding to you, you probably are annoying and might want to consider adjusting your life decisions. That being said, you can click on the link down there. Also, if you hop in right now, you can come in and talk to us on the show as we get closer to the end, which actually I think
Right
we're...
around about now.
Yeah,
couple
we're
of the
getting
things
there.
I pulled from the milestone video that I can't remember if we saw already. Did we know the 3 different knight upgrade classes? Swordsman,
Oh
Crusader,
yeah,
Sentinel?
yeah.
We knew
They
that, right?
talked about that. It
Yeah.
showed. I love that video. It's like when you get to see little kids grow up, or a picture, or a picture a day. Yeah.
And then we also saw a couple disciplines that they maybe talked about but never really formally talked about before. It was Master of Axes, Swords, and Hammers, which increased your skill maximum. So little theory crafting on there. So you can see that there might be major differences with extra damage with some of that stuff, which is kind of cool. Looking forward to seeing how the numbers kind of gel out in about a year from now when they start actually fine-tuning all that stuff. Should be neat. I think we made it through this whole show without any what-if questions.
We didn't need any.
I know.
We actually had
Content.
solid content.
Solid
What if
Man.
Valor was good at video games?
What if Valor didn't have a ponytail?
Oh, they're throwing this out there. I am
and
spawn camping.
Didn't shave his neck beard.
Dude,
You're gonna-
Valor
you're
is
going to
so
be-
upset
you're gonna
right
be
now.
begging.
Hold on,
You're
where's
Wait,
the salt,
Lakes.
chat?
Lakes,
You're
Where's
gonna be
the
like,
salt?
oh, Todd,
Lakes,
Polly, help
I
us.
think I see a katana hanging on his wall in the back that he got
was
from
breaking
QVC
the game
because he's
we
a
can't,
ninja.
We can't do anything. We're just trying to
is
test
that
it, and
what
he
that's
keeps
back
killing
there?
us. Oh man, just wait. It's gonna be so
PJ,
much fun.
baby,
It's gonna be so
PJ.
much fun.
Oh man.
Man.
So I think we covered everything. I think. I think we killed the Hunger Dome to death right now. I don't think we can really talk much about anything until we get our hands on it. And I know they're tweaking all the animation speeds, the movement, the masses, all that's changing. Oh, the one other point I wanted to bring up, and let's end it at this. They were talking a lot about the campfires, adding a buff, and everybody kind of congregates around them.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great topic that we can kind of tease for maybe we talk about it next week, where
There's a lot of ways to tackle that.
people generally go around where there's cool things happening or buffs, so that's where you fight over.
And people who like killing people like going where there are people.
Exactly. So I think it just goes to show that you can add simple things and make PvP happen over nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. So we're going to be here next week. We might have some technical difficulties next week. I'm just announcing. I will not be able to host the show next week, but I will be able to join in. So
I won't be there.
Hopefully Valor learns how to use a computer.
Let's see, what's Tuesday? Maybe we should. Can we push it back to Wednesday again? Do we want to just?
I'm gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night.
Oh man!
So if you want to do it Monday night or Friday night, I can do it.
Well, Monday night's my birthday, so won't be doing it then.
Valor's turning 21.
21 again.
Yes, he's been drinking underage on this show for
31.
Year. Congratulations, my friend.
Hooray.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. But
okay, not Monday night.
Also, it's a national holiday, so we won't be doing it on Monday.
True, that's Labor Day. So,
so
can I teach you how to use OBS?
What about Wednesday? No Wednesday?
I'm busy all week.
Oh, man, you guys just killing me. What will happen, guys, I'll figure out how to host everything. I'll get it set up here on my computer.
Man.
And it'll be Dragon, myself, and we'll see if we can find a special guest. Maybe we can snag somebody who would be interesting to listen to, as opposed to us.
Maybe we can make fun of Camelot Unchained and get 1 million views on YouTube again.
Oh yeah, if you really want to see some entertaining conversations, hop on our YouTube channel. And no, I'm not just promoting our YouTube channel. Hop on our YouTube channel and go to the Crowns and Crows. I'm sorry, the Crowfall versus Camelot Unchained video. And oh man, like I get that we want that game to succeed. We really do. It's good for the industry, and they offer a different thing than Crowfall's going to be offering. But my God, there is so much salt just pouring out of that video. Lake
I managed to pull out all the trolls underneath the bridge on that.
Thomas wants to host a show with Valor and just go what ifs for an hour. And my torture is I have to be on the video, but I have to.
I'm going to Donald Trump it. You're fired.
Fine, go ahead. Learn how to use OBS. I dare you. You can't have any of these art assets.
I'll be Donald Trump. He'll be Uncle Bob, and you can be the Fox host who pissed off Donald Trump.
So I'm a blonde with big tits or something.
Oh yeah. So
great.
there you
this
go.
show just turned political. Good job, Valor.
Oh,
just what we needed.
No.
Just what we needed.
Who brought that up?
We're gonna end this anyway.
After show.
Pay attention to all social media: Facebook, Twitter.
Follow us.
Official
Follow
forums.
us here.
Follow us on here. We'll update you throughout the weekend as we try to figure out what we're going to do for next week. Hopefully Valor and I can get things done, and then he'll be hosting, and you'll see me being Skyped in from a hotel room.
Remember to bring your headset.
Yes, that's a good
point. When do you leave? Do you need me to text you?
Hey, I'm leaving Tuesday morning.
Because if you're on laptop audio, sorry, brother.
I'll call in via cell phone in between my sweaty mess that's about to happen
doesn't
next
GameBox
week.
have a phone app? I mean, I think we can make this work.
Yeah, you can call in Skype.
Skype does.
Skype. Yeah. There you go.
We'll
make
Except
it work.
I'm going to be extremely sweaty, and you might hear a lot of heavy breathing.
What else is new?
Lake got a gig out in L.A. All right. Don't ask him about it.
All right,
He'll
guys.
Be very sweaty.
Let's cut it out. We'll go to the after show in just a moment. Thanks for watching. All the guys at Crowfall have joined in. We want to do a shout out to Jumbo Person for an awesome stream. We've been using his content the whole time. You can go to his Twitch channel, Jumbo Person, so twitch.tv/
until we get in.
And until we get in, then there's going to be a lot more streams, so we'll be paying attention to that
True.
as things go. Have a great night, guys. Have a happy and safe extended weekend here in the U.S., and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.
Peace.